Hello, dear students. How are you all? I hope you all are fine. Welcome to Bridge Course Session 11. In this session, we are learning chapter number 2. It is the history part, New Kings and Kingdoms. In this chapter, we are learning to understand the political developments around 700 CE to 1200 CE. And also, we are learning to trace the patterns of political developments and military conquest of regional dynasties. And next content is there here to develop an understanding of the connections between political and economical processes through the explosion of Chola period. So next topic, to understand how inscriptions are used to reconstruct history. These all concepts today we are learning in this chapter number 2, New Kings and Kingdoms. Introduction about this chapter. The period of 700 CE and 1200 CE was characterized by emergence of three regional states across the subcontinent. So these new kingdoms marked a departure from earlier state structure of empires of the ancient period. See here, rise of regional kingdoms. So this period saw the rise of three major kingdoms. There are three major kingdoms are there: the Palas, the Gurjara Pratiharas, and the Rashtrakutas. These three major kingdoms are emerged, in India. In this period, see here, Palas in the eastern India, see here, Palas are emerged in eastern India, and Gurjara Pratiharas emerged in western India. Gurjara Pratiharas, see here, they are emerged in Gurjara Pratiharas. And the Rashtrakutas and the Gangetic plains. These are the Rashtrakutas in the Deccan or southern India. These are the southern India emerged in these all directions. These three dynasties. There was constant struggle for some among the three kingdoms over the control of Kannauj. With the end of Gupta dynasty, the focus shifted from Gangetic plains to Pataliputra to Kannauj. Kannauj was strategically linked to trade routes going eastwards into Gangetic plains, as well as to those going towards the south. Some locations are there. The Palas, the Gurjara Pratiharas and the Rashtrakutas directed their military activity towards it conquest from the 8th to 10th century CE. The struggle over Kannauj. Kannauj was an attempt to revive the notion of single kingdom ruling the entire country. So which kingdom that? Kannauj. Let us take a close look at the kingdoms involved in the struggle. See here, these all are struggling to Kannauj. So first I talk about Palas. They are struggled here. Why they are struggled? About Kannauj. They are ruling to, means they all are controlling the Kannauj. So here first I talk about first dynasty is there here, Palas dynasty. The Palas dominated eastern India, centered around Bihar and Bengal for almost 4 centuries. The Pala dynasty was founded by King Gopala. According to the Tibetan monk, he was the Tibetan monk and Taranatha. Gopala was elected as king in the 18th century CE by the local leaders of the region. His successor Dharmapala made the Pala kingdom a force to reckon with the North India. Towards the end of 18th century, he led to successful campaign and the conquered Kanauja from the Pratiharas. So he is credited to have built the famous university Vikramashila. Okay, and his successor Devapala extended the borders of his kingdoms to include the Kamaropa in Assam. He built the Mahabodhi temple. He built the Mahabodhi temple at Bodh Gaya. Okay, it is about Pala dynasty. So who was the founder of Pala's dynasty? King Gopala. So King Gopala was Tibetan monk. Okay, see here, his successor, in which century he was elected? He was leader in 8th century. He was the elected by king. And after his successor and after his death, who was the ruling the Pala's dynasty? The Dharmapala. The Dharmapala ruling the Pala kingdom. Okay, and in North India. Okay, he was built North India also. He was extended the North India also in 8th century. And he conquered, Dharmapala conquered Kanauj from the Pratiharas. Okay, so Dharmapala built a famous university of Vikramashila University. So who was built the Vikramashila University? Dharmapala, King Dharmapala. So after the successor of Dharmapala, see here, Devapala extended the borders of Pala's kingdom. Okay, include Kamaropa in Assam. And here Devapala built Mahabodhi temple at Bodh Gaya. It is about Pala's dynasty. So next I talk about Pratiharas. The Pratiharas traced their origin to the Hun tribes. They are origin of Hun tribes. They were most powerful Rajput clans at this time. The first independent Pratihara king, the founder of Pratihara King Nagabhatta. He was in 8th century. Okay, he was barely registered Arab inventions. The greatest ruler of this dynasty was Mihir Bhoja. Okay, the greatest dynasty of Pratihara dynasty was Mihir Bhoja, who was ruled by 836 CE to 886 CE. Whom was ruled? Mihir Bhoja. Mihir Bhoja was ruled 836 CE to 886 CE. Okay, and the Pratiharas during the reign of Bhoja extended their control over large part of Rajasthan and Malwa. Okay, and he was also controlled Kanauj. And next dynasty is coming here, Rashtrakutas. The third dynasty it is, which was involved the Kanauj, and also Rashtrakutas they are in Deccan part. So according to some Arabic sources, Rashtrakutas were the most powerful of 3 dynasties. See here, in 3 dynasty, so which was the most powerful dynasty in the 8th century? The Rashtrakutas. The Rashtrakuta dynasty was the most powerful of the 3 dynasties. Here founder Danti Durga, founder of Rashtrakuta dynasty home, Danti Durga. Okay, so in 8th century CE. He was originally a feudatory of the Chalukyas. So rulers like Amoghavarsa and Krishna III also gave some stability to the kingdom. They also extended frontiers to include Kanauja. The last Rashtrakuta king was Kakatu. He was the king Kakatu. Kakatu was the last Rashtrakutas king. Okay, so these are the 3 dynasties. So emerging the new kings and kingdoms. See here, end of the Triparthi's struggle. Ramapala, one of the successor of Devapala of the Pala dynasty, faced revolt somewhere in Bengal, and Palas losing their grip over the Kanauja. Meanwhile, the Rashtrakutas consolidate their position and gain control over Kanauj. So, however, Rashtrakutas lost it into the Pratiharas under King Bhoja. By the time Mahmud of Ghazni attacked Kanauj in 1017 CE, in 1017 CE, the Mahmud Ghazni was attacked to Kanauj. Okay, see here, the struggle of three dynasties had come to an end, and decline of the three dynasties declined simultaneously. Their strengths were similar and they were dependent on well organized armies. Their constant companions meant maintenance of large armies and treasure of sources of revenue. So, see here, while their feudatories declared themselves independent. Okay, so this diminished their sources revenue and led to their consequent fall. These all dynasties are here fall. So, next I am talking about Rajputa dynasties. Okay, some kingdoms beyond the Gangetic plains here. Some periphery of large kingdoms were the smaller states such as that of the Nepal, Kamarupa, Kashmir, and Utkala. Utkala means what? Odisha. So these dynasties are the Shilaharas, as the Shilaharas in Maharashtra. In Rajasthan and the central India, there arose a number of small kingdoms ruled by dynasties called the Rajputs. Rajput dynasty. So now I am talking that Rajput dynasties. In the 9th and 10th century, in Pala dynasty, Gurjara Pratihara dynasty and Rashtrakuta dynasties, they are emerged first in 8th century, and afterwards in 9th to 10th century they are coming. Rajputs are coming here. Rajputs are ruling here. So number of Rajput kingdoms gained in prominence. There is a lot of controversy surrounding their origin. They call themselves Rajaputras. Which literally means they were the princes. See here, they claimed some royal lineages asserted by Kshatriyas. The previous dynasties ruled irrespective of their caste status. Some these dynasties linked their some lineage either with the Suryavamshi means or solar family, Chandravamshi, it is the lunar family, Agnikula. So these all families descendant of fire family. See, some beginning of 9th century Rajput dynasties dominated the northern part of India. Okay, in the primary they are the complete conquest of India totally. They are conquest India. Okay, so they are maintained independent in Rajasthan and the forest of central India. And later Sultan Alauddin Khilji took over the two Rajput forts of Chittor and Ranthambore. The major Rajput dynasties were Pratiharas and Chauhans. Rajput dynasty, some major Rajput dynasties are see here. They are the Pratiharas and the Chauhans, the Solankis and the Paramaras. The Pratiharas ruled in southern Rajasthan and the Chauhans ruled in Shakhambari, southeast of Delhi, and the Solanki power was concentrated at the Gujarat and the Paramaras were located in Malwa. So the focus of each of these dynasty was territory ruled by them. Okay, so here some according to there where 36 Rajput clans are there. Okay, in that 4 clans Pratiharas or Pariharas, the Chahamanas or Chauhans, Chalukyas or Solankis, Paramaras or Pawars. So here 4 clans are very important in Rajput dynasties. Pratiharas we calling, otherwise other name of Pratiharas is a Pariharas. That like Chahamanas means what? Chauhans. Chalukyas means what? Solankis. Paramaras means Pawars. Okay. So just like they all are ruling Rajasthan. They are the also northern part. Now I am talking about Cholas. Okay, Cholas. See here, Cholas Empire in southern part. Around the same time, there were Pallavas and Pandyas and the Cholas in South India. So in north part and central part of India, how they 9th century they are ruling, Rajputs are ruling India, and in that time, same time, in southern part, Pallavas and Pandya Cholas are ruling in South India. These three kingdoms were constantly at war, expand their boundaries under the Cholas, establishment of certain institutions, emergence of cultures, forms, patterns of living of the south of partially influenced lifestyle. They are the partially influenced lifestyle elsewhere the peninsula. The Cholas means that the region of Cholas also saw active interaction with the Southeast Asia. Okay, in the 9th century, the Pallavas were defeated and uprooted by Pandyas. However, the Cholas emerged, dominated power in the south in the middle 9th century. Here, Vijayala of Chola dynasty conquered the region of Tanjore. From Tanjore, the Cholas spread northward, annexing the 10th century. They remained means their Pallavas territory. In 907, Parantaka first came to power and ruled the almost half century. He did consolidate the Chola rule in the face Rashtrakuta and the Pandya adversaries. The Chola reign was formally established with the accession of Rajaraja. Okay, see here, the king Rajaraja. So Rajaraja was ruled the Chola dynasty 985 to 1014 to the throne. Later his son and successor Rajendra consolidated Rajendra was ruling the Chola dynasty. And afterwards, see here, they first attacked some Cheras in Kerala, Sri Lanka, and the Pandyas, and ordered some West Asia. They attacked. Rajendra was after the Rajaraja was successor Rajendra ruling the Cholas dynasty. And Chola dynasty means he was the Rajendra was the attacked by some places. Okay, like Cheras in Kerala, Sri Lanka in Pandyas. Okay, and see here 1021 to 1022 the famous Northern Campaign was launched here. Rajendra reached the north of the country. He led to expedition through Orissa and reached to bank of Ganges. And he went some expedition to King Sri Vijaya in Southeast Asia. After his successor Rajendra I ruling the Chola dynasty. See here, his administration, Chola's administration. The Chola state was organized into territorial administrative units. There was standardized taxations, village assembly was central to Chola administration. Say royal officials did participate in the village assembly, but only the advisors and observers. So large villages were divided into smaller divisions, so each with a smaller assembly representing its households. In this spirit, Chola spirit, okay, people practicing the same profession, staying near each other. So assemblies came to control production. Okay, the function of these assemblies differed according to the local conditions. Members comprised adult males and heads of the households in the village. Sometimes they formed a small executive body for taking decision on routine matters. The Sabha had the same system, and the addition could constitute committees from amongst its members of specialized work. Villages were grouped together, okay, under a Nadu. So we calling that Nadu. Nagaram were the centers of actions that came within the Nadu. A group of Nadu formed Valanadu and Mandalamas. Okay, so see here. So this like the some administration ruling in the Cholas period. So in today's topic, chapter 2, new kingdoms and kingdoms are completed here. So today we have learned in this chapter some rises of three kingdoms, regional kingdoms, how they rised, okay, how they controlled Kannauj, okay, and how the end of the tripartite of struggle, decline of the three dynasties, and how the Rajputs are ruled the some northern parts and central parts, and about Cholas. So we have learned today's class. So I hope you all are understood and you keep it the points, make the points and do it study well. So next class I am continuing in next period. Thank you.